Welcome to the Black Romance Writers Audiobook Corner, where love, intrigue, and fantasy are only a click away. So please sit back and enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. You can also leave a comment below if you like. Scrubalicious, written by Elizabeth Griffin, narrated by Elizabeth Griffin. This is a medical romance. Note from the author. Because I'm recording this audiobook using my phone, I suggest that you listen to it using my playlist on YouTube. That way you can enjoy without continual interruptions. Prologue. It doesn't matter what I think. It's what my family decides. That's what counts. Do you not see that? Demanded Murari Varadaraj. Have you not learned that much by now? Aaron heard the words, felt his emotions, but could not respond. She stared at him, at his flawless face, his high cheekbones, his black eyes. Everything about him was perfect, or had been, until now. She scrutinized his movement. His arrogance stunned her. His tone of voice disarmed her. She did not recognize the man standing before her. The sky blue scrubs and the white lab coat were familiar, but he was a stranger. Not the microvascular fellow she had met 7 years ago. Not the brilliant doctor who had urged her to specialize in cardiothoracic medicine. And definitely not the man she had kissed good morning. Erin stiffened and straightened her posture. She listened. You have expected too much. Assume more than you had a right to, he said, catching her eyes with his and trapping them in a bold stare. Our relationship was never meant to be more than temporary. I have family obligations to fulfill. You know that. This had to be a joke, she thought. How else could she explain this madness? She couldn't. But if this was a gag, where was the humor? She heard no laughter, felt no comedic relief. The room was quiet, and there was no punchline, unless she was it. Vile curse words filled her mouth, wrapped around her tongue. She wanted to release them. She wanted to strike back, to crush his haughty attitude, to bruise his ego, but she waited. She did not want the situation to erupt into total chaos. He was already standing in the middle of her office and yelling. The doors to the surgical office suite were closed, and most of Aaron's staff was at lunch. She was supposedly at lunch too, but her food remained untouched in a vinyl bag on her desk. Murari moved closer to where she sat. His expression was intense. I am Hindu, he declared, as though the information were news to her, as though she had not been his girlfriend for the past 3 years. I am expected to marry a woman within my own caste, a woman of similar status. I do not come from a family of farmers. My parents are not merchants. My bloodline runs blue. I come from royalty? She asked as the word popped into her head. She had no idea where it came from. I was going to say money, but both are true. I am a Yuvaraja, the youngest of 5 princes. The declaration brought a hysterical sound to Aaron's throat. It would have formed a laugh if the circumstances were different, but they were not. Here stood a man who had obviously tracked her down for a reason. A what? I am a prince of Varaja, a large province in northern India. She shook her head and rolled her eyes. This isn't funny, Murari. I do not have time for games. I have 2 surgical consultations scheduled, plus a cardiac procedure. It is true, Ari, he said, using the nickname he had given her years ago. Aaron dismissed the term of endearment and focused on his words. I never mentioned it because I was living in this country, trying to fit in with everyone else. My total identity would have made that impossible. Do you remember all of the security last month? The VIP touring the hospital? It was my uncle, Dr. Nagar Seth. A startled look crossed Aaron's face. She did remember the man. Marari continued speaking. He attended the opening ceremony of the Neuronal Research Pavilion. The hospital was on temporary lockdown. The Philadelphia Police Department was everywhere. Our own security was on high alert. No one made a move without permission. I do not want to live my life like that, to learn under those conditions. So you have been deceiving us all? Aaron's voice rose in volume. I asked you about him. You said he was a surgeon from your country. You didn't say he was family. You never mentioned that you were related. Aaron grasped for comprehension. Her world was suddenly spinning faster and changing direction. Her boyfriend was no longer a microvascular surgeon, but a prince? A prince who had just insulted her family and accused them of being beneath him? Hadn't he just referred to her as a descendant of farmers, a sharecropper's daughter? Her temper began to blister. She knew a little about the caste system of India, which strongly influenced the people of that region of the world. Aaron was aware of the fact that many Indian people still practice segregation. They were very reluctant to socialize or even marry outside of their class. She learned in college of the 4 occupational classes a person could be born into. The young surgeon had even taken specific world history courses in order to understand the man that she was now in love with. She wanted to learn about his culture, his beliefs, so she studied them both.